Good evening, everyone. A very special night tonight, and I will introduce our guests very, very soon. So just a couple of minutes so we see if everything is going all right on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook, etc. So first of all, welcome to be here, and will be an amazing night. I will just start with this small countdown. So we just take these 2 minutes to see if everything is going all right, and just to say hello to some of our friends logging in and they are already messaging. Good evening, Andrea Puoti. Good evening, Davide Cefariello. Good evening. Hello, Noemi. What's up? Good evening, everyone. Yes. Ciao Carlo, Aresu. Ciao Drumfly. Good evening. Hi, Marco. Good evening, Dario Bittu. Questa sera botte d'orbi. Yeah, it will be a very intense night. Hello, good evening, Nicola Schinto. Buonasera, Super Doc. Grandi. Hello, Elisa. The most epic live streaming of ever, indeed, it will. Ciao Max, ciao Max, grandissimo, buonasera. Ciao Mattia, ciao Mirko, buonasera. Hello Marco Munari, buonasera. Feel free, guys, to, of course, we prepared a couple of questions for Marco, and you will see we will go very thorough through his career and styles, etc. But feel free to prepare your own questions, but please just send them through Twitch or YouTube, otherwise I cannot be able to link the questions to Marco. Hello Eugenio Persico, good evening. Hello Stefano Viola. Hello Andrea Puoti. We will do, Andrea, an interview, and Marco will play something. He will talk about the gear he's using, so you're going to see. Ciao Raffaele Di Capo, buonasera. Alex Estito, good evening my friend, what's up? No translation, non ci sarà la traduzione, sarà tutto in inglese, altrimenti durerebbe 3 giorni. Ciao Marco Zaio, hi everyone, good evening guys. But you will find, just let me tell you something in Italian, troverete degli estratti della diretta poi su Charleston TV, ma adesso vi spiego tutto come andiamo a funzionare, intanto si parte. Okay, guys, I'm very excited to be here tonight with this living legend, Marco Minnemann. I'm very happy he agreed, and also his manager agreed to do this small, or not that small, live streaming tonight together, because Marco is not just an amazing drummer. It's a multi-instrumentalist, it's a producer, a sound engineer, you will see. But I believe if you're here tonight, it's because you know a lot better than me, even a lot better than me, Marco Minnemann. Good evening, Enrico. So just the last good evening, and just to say hi and hello to our friends. Ciao Kus, ciao Davide, good evening. So first of all, I want to introduce our first guest, a special guest, because I'm not myself a drummer. And I want to be sure when we have a guest here, even if he comes from Italy or from abroad, to make him comfortable, and to choose the proper questions, interesting questions, just not generic ones. So exactly the same way we do with bass players, when I have my colleague Alex Lofoco, we found a collaboration with this amazing Italian drummer, and he's always on the spot, not only playing but also doing entrepreneur activities with his studio and masterclass, etc. And we chose the proper questions for Marco because he's a drummer, I'm not. So we will share the burden of this night together. So let me introduce you, first of all, Mr. Gabriele Morcavallo. Ciao Gabri, good evening, what's up?
Good evening, Thomas. Good evening.
Are you excited, mate?
Yeah, really excited. And I'm honored to be hosted by Music Off. So thank you for this collaboration. And I'm so excited because I'm in this moment like a child having in front of him Superman, you know.
Yeah,
for me, Marco Minnemann. And I want at first thank you and say thank you to all Music Off staff, because it's really, really nice and a true honor to be here with you.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for your effort in the upcoming, just in the last
Welcome.
days. So you prepared a very good questions we are going to share tonight with Marco. So we'll do this way. I will do some of the questions, and Gabriele will do the others. I mean, the one more dedicated to drummers will be done from Gabriele, and I will do just more the generic ones, you know. But I guess we spoke quite enough, guys. If you're looking at this live streaming, if you feel free to share this content wherever you are, even if you are on Twitch, on YouTube, or Facebook, etc., so we can find more people that can meet this legend, Mr. Marco Minnemann. Hello Marco, what's up? Welcome.
Ciao a tutti e grazie mille per essere venuti. And
Welcome, Marco.
buonasera. So in English, hello everyone, and thank you very much for coming. And yep, I'm here. You are there.
Yeah, we are there. We are quite far away from each other. I mean, you are from California now. It's noon over there, isn't it?
Yeah, and yet we are so close.
Okay, let's get started with some of the questions we prepared for you, mate.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning, Marco. I mean, how did it all start for you? What was the spark that set you off on your wonderful musical journey?
I guess, that really must have been my parents, and my parents are both huge music enthusiasts. And so at a very young age, like for me, they introduced me to their record collection. And so music belongs pretty much, in our everyday life. And so still to this day, when my parents visit me here, or I'm going there, or we hang somewhere, there's always music on during breakfast, during, lunch or dinner. And sometimes we would even do like band guessing games. We would go like, hey, who is this? Oh, I know, that's Judas Priest. That was kind of, then you kind of, go further down the detail. And so at an early age, my parents introduced me to Jethro Tull, to Queen, to Led Zeppelin, and all these cool bands, and further on.
Okay, sorry. I was just gathering one of the questions from the crowd.
Yeah.
Because I guess tonight we will have a couple of very specific questions for you.
Okay.
And, from drummers, but I will save them for later at least.
No problem.
So, of course, because even before being a drummer, you are a musician, a complete musician, a multi-instrumentalist able to arrange and put together exquisite productions. How important is to be a well-rounded musician nowadays, and as well as a brilliant instrumentalist?
Well, thank you first of all kindly for the compliments. It makes my day already. So, to me, it is like very important to understand, harmony and how to write a song, how to put a song together, because the more you know about arranging and composing and other instruments, the better your ears are, to really, know what to play and what not to play and when is your moment to shine. So for me, it's really important, for example, when I have a guitar riff or like a beautiful piano thing that you come up with, and then you play the drums to it or something, you automatically don't want to destroy a good riff or a good melody. So you stay out of the way. But if there's space that needs to be filled, where you could put some ingredients in. And I think that really makes it valuable already to kind of look out and learn a little more about other instruments, and how you would think as another player, And so that's of utmost importance. But also, my parents, when I started music, were getting me first organ lessons, like 2 manual organ with like foot bass and all kinds of stuff, so that I would know about the musical dynamics and harmony structure before getting into banging on things.
Yeah. So, Marco, let's talk about drums. One day, while chatting with Jojo Meyer, he told me a very enlightening sentence. He said, when you decide who to be, you are also deciding who not to be. Looking
Yeah.
at you, however, you seem to be an exception. From the extreme soloist to the sideman to the band leader to the high-profile teacher. Briefly, who have you chosen to be, and consequently, what have you chosen not to?
Okay, well, first of all, hi Jojo. He's a dear friend of mine. We go back a long time. Seriously, we know each other for a long time. Now the thing is, you make conscious decisions, I would say, about how you sound like. I think, this is more the definition, of who you really are. And that I see to me as the style, and for example, it took me years to figure out what instruments I really want on the drum set and which ones to let go.
Yeah.
So I was experimenting with tiny little weird cymbals and even like a foot snare at some point, and it's a road, right, to somewhere. And then I listened back to it, and especially since I'm an audio engineer, as you are, you listen with different ears all of a sudden, and then I listened back and I thought like, man, I could get rid of that thing or replace this with something else. And so, over the course of the years, you all of a sudden find your literally almost your voice, you find your sound and where to place the instruments. So now stylistically speaking, since I grew up listening to a lot of music and a lot of diversity, I believe that everybody can play what they can feel. Yeah. And I grew up, with pop, with rock, with prog, with metal, with jazz, and so with funk, with all kinds of things, and mainly like rock music as well. So after a while, I decided to take all these styles in, and that's why you hear me play like so many different productions. But I played with my sound, and I have like the instrument that sort of delivers exactly what I need. I don't really change that up too much. It kind of just comes out of your hands with your instruments. You maybe tune a little bit or use sometimes different drum heads or, but I don't really mess around with that too much. And so that to me is sort of, I kind of found my voice. Yeah. Old dear friend of mine, Simon Phillips, has like, the sort of same attitude towards it. He always comes with his drum set pretty much, with trademark it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so
often.
Awesome, yeah, go ahead with another question, Gabriele. So after that, we have already three very close questions we can get in.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Often groove, technique, musicality, and heart are all set against and disconnected from each other. In your drumming, however, all these aspects are in their highest level with an unmistakable plus, your unleashed and sometimes visionary genius, which is your unique signature. How did you put all these elements together? Was there a specific study for each of them?
Oh, well, yes and no. Thank you, first of all, for your nice words. Means a lot. But look, I thank you. I never kind of obviously thought of, I want to be this or something like that. All I want to do is just, I want to play everything I have inside of my head with the best possible intention and also with the best possible quality. So obviously I'm interested in learning and I'm interested in playing to the best of my abilities, like I said. And also, I think really that what you just pointed out, that you combine these things sometimes. Well, let's put it that way. If I'm doing like a video on YouTube, then or on social media, let's say a few minutes of playing around on the drums. Yeah, sometimes I purposely combine it where I go like, look, there is like, the technique you like. There's like some independent stuff as well. But there's also some groove, and there's also some space, and there are also dynamics and a musical theme you can kind of create. So I think that is really important to keep people entertained, and kind of take people on a journey. And especially, obviously, when you hang your ass outside the window on social media, then you're not playing for yourself. You're playing for the masses. You're
so you
playing...
in that moment decide in what direction the wave goes.
You play for an audience, and without the audience, you wouldn't be here. So I have to do this, for drum solos. That's why it's called a drum solo. Then obviously I deliver fireworks, but with hopefully the right amount of musicality as well in it, or with the musicality is always on the forefront. That's always the most important thing. So that is really, how I kind of see that. However, when you see me play on records or when you hear my albums that I'm doing, I really only pay attention to the song. So it's never about your ego or what you can put in or whatnot. It's always about what the song needs. And but since I'm fortunate enough to play like on so many different productions, I can have meanwhile the ease to just also let go, to be selfless and selfish at times too. But but I guess all these things married together define really the palette that you're building. And there you go. That was the long answer.
Wonderful answer. Thank you so much.
I wish to see many, not only drummers, I mean also musicians here in Italy listening to your words about this discussion about to be selfless and to just to fight against your ego constantly. Really,
it is a thing, because when people just start playing and they have chops, for example, and they have ability and capability, it's easy for the really young players to overshoot, to kind of, just go out and try to overplay, and that is a thing that settles with experience because, because the more history you have, the more you can lean back on it and kind of go like, and you can just enjoy making music without being at a competition or something like that. And that is really something that people should understand.
Yeah, this made the night for me. We can stop it here, really. Amazing. Okay, Marco, this comes from one of our friends looking at the live streaming, Eugenio Persico. Technical question. For a drummer, the difference between playing in old style with thousands of watts on the stage and in the modern way with silenced stage. How do you feel about it?
Very interesting. It's a good question. I really like that question. So the old style is what I prefer with having the acoustics being around you, because it feels natural. And that's the same thing with the drum set here right now in front of me. You kind of can work with the sound without being biased with like certain in-ears and stuff like that. However, I really want to state that there's a good and a bad for both of these scenarios. For example, one of my bands, the Aristocrats, Aristocazzo, no, I was kidding. So
Great.
Scusate. So there you go. So the thing is, with the Aristocrats, we're like a trio, and we play like close together, so we can hear each other, and we really feed off each other with the energy of the sound. So that is, and we have like high dynamics, like really quiet passages, really loud ones, and it fluctuates between that. So we really work best if we play on stage as an organic trio, And now in a setting like, for example, Joe Satriani or Steven Wilson, I would use in-ear monitors, or headphones or whatnot, because the stage is very laid out. There's like many people on stage. We have like keyboard players, another guitar player, maybe two guitar players, bunch of vocals, maybe some stuff comes even from tracks sometimes, and so that is when you kind of need a very clean. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes, when these things happen, you need, especially when you play to film sometimes, then obviously the in-ear monitoring system is fantastic, and you have like, just like a studio quality, nice sound that is kind of adjusted to your liking, and you keep it throughout the tour. So there's nothing wrong with that. So these are the two scenarios, and I hope that answered the question about my point of view, when to use it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So this is just another small one. Which instrument do you use the most when you compose? piano, guitar? Which one?
Yeah, possibly guitar, because I just love actually when I finish a session here, when I play drums or something, and I'm sitting at night, on my couch and having like a nice glass of wine or something, and then play guitar, and then I just improvise and do things, and all of a sudden a cool riff falls from the sky, and you go like, oh, and then I already hear like vocal lines, and I hear like certain things, and then I kind of put it on the voice notes, and go like, cool. So I have like all those little, voice notes, and then I kind of go to my studio and make a song out of it, right? And sometimes it also happens, that I'm sitting, on my keyboard and have a nice piano sound on or something, and then something cool comes up, and then I'll do something with it. So these are the most scenarios. It sometimes also, believe it or not, happens on the drum set. If I start improvising and a cool groove just happens, I go like, oh shit, I could hear like a bass line. And it's the same with the bass as well. The bass usually is a very groove-oriented instrument. So if there's like a cool line, a bass line, I'll grab that. So it can happen from all sorts of things. Sometimes even a vocal melody that you hear when you wake up and you dreamed something about it. You go like, oh, hang on, I can make a song out of that. But I got to say, mainly it's really, I think the guitar, I have to say. I love writing riffs on the guitar, so a lot of the songs come from there.
Yeah, many good drummers, even being very famous, just playing guitars, and they,
I know, right?
they wrote many good songs about it. So Marco, but speaking about teaching, this is another very important part of your life.
Yeah.
How do you keep both hands, feet, and head focused and tied together all the times? Have you got any routine to follow?
I don't, actually, to be very honest. I see, music belongs in my everyday life, and I'm not the guy who's sitting down and has like I don't really have a certain practice schedule, for example. I just really sit down and play. And yeah, sometimes I have something in mind that I want to hear and go like, and then I work on it. Then I kind of do like, cool, let's see how this goes. And, but the thing is, since I'm playing so much, it kind of automatically happens. I have like many studio gigs, I write songs, so let's put it that way, there is no shortage of playing, so I'm looking sometimes really forward to not play, for example, if I have like the last few weeks, I literally had like 6 productions, and I thought like, okay, that is intense, and it was fun. I mean, I can make my own schedule, and so I'm pretty quick in playing things, and I'm a good chart reader as well and stuff. So I can do this with joy and ease, But 6 productions, in 2 weeks, that was even where you think like, okay, and you literally feel it, your body and stuff. It feels like you worked out, and and so after that, I just enjoy taking a few days completely off and not doing anything, not even touching a drumstick, just kind of, going to some nice restaurants and having fun out there, So I guess
the better routine.
Yeah, you know what, but you got to do this, you have to do that. And it's the same with my guitar player and dear friend, Guthrie Goffin, when we're out on the road, after the show, we concentrate on drinking and talking and having fun rather than kind of, keeping a music topic entertained or something. Because we do this all the time anyhow. And also before the show, we don't really warm up because it feels good to kind of, after a sound check, just take a break, and then go on stage, and then you find your instrument and you go like, hi, I missed you already. Let's kind of, let's have fun. So I guess that's it. The balance is important,
So you don't spend all the notes or the sound before the gig.
No, no, it would be having a conversation before a conversation. It's not good.
Okay, go.
So
Gabri.
Marco, the concept of coordination is one of the basic elements of your teaching. Could you explain us about it in an accessible way?
Yeah. It's kind of funny, first of all, because I never saw myself really as a teacher, but but I guess I am in a way because I did write books about it, and I have DVDs, and on and off I do clinics. But that's and I'm happy to share that, and it is a great opportunity, for example, here right now to do this. But usually what I do, I just do these things and play music, and then I post something online. Well, I guess in a way that is teaching then, isn't it? But so would you like me to give you maybe like an exercise how to build one extreme coordination pattern, but make
That
it
would be
sound musical?
amazing. Yeah,
Okay.
of course. So I will just reduce the volume of Marco because he is connected through the MacBook microphone.
Yeah, I tell you what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to explain something, speaking, just
Yeah.
do that before so you can play and we can reduce the volume. Otherwise, people will just die.
Okay, cool. I tell you what. So here I'm talking. I'm explaining to you right now how to build a very extreme technical exercise, but trying to make it sound musical. So I give the basic elements and how to make it sound musical. So let's start with a pattern. Let's start with two different patterns. Let's start first of all with the regular double stroke combination between the feet, where you play like right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. And we started first kind of slowly, with the right foot on the kick drum and the left foot on the hi-hat. Okay, so now you can lower the volume. I just play that
Yep.
thing.
Okay.
So that goes like, yeah.
Okay, go.
So that combination, right? So we have that, and then. So that's the first, right?
Yeah.
Volume up, yeah? Okay, cool. So that's the first pattern, okay? So we have a double stroke. Okay. Now we kind of, start playing something separately. Let me see something. I'll come up with something on the spot, okay? 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we play 4 against 5 exercise, or 5 against 4. Let's put it that way. Between two hands. So let's play 5 on the right hand against 4 notes on the left hand. And you don't need to lower the volume. I'm doing this quietly, okay? I'm doing this like here on the room. So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we kind of find like 4 equal hits that kind of measure up with the 5. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now both together. So 4 over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Right? So you have this. And then you can still keep the volume up. We can lower that later when the exercise is complete. By the way, I'm just doing this on the fly. I can't I can't promise that the pattern will sound good. So let me say Oh yeah, I have something. So cool. So now we have the 5 against 4. Now we kind of put these things at first together. So if like the. So now remember the first pattern I told you. You can keep the volume still up. I'll play it really
Yeah, I'm
quiet.
still up.
Yeah, good. So now let's play the double stroke combination under it, right? So the boom. Okay. So then. Right. Right? So now we have this. And then you kind of try to find a melody. So now to kind of play really something like to make it sound more interesting, you can now kind of shift the 5 against 4 and play, let's say, between 3 toms. And then you kind of play the snare on it. So you have a little melody, and that sounds like almost like a musical arrangement without being too technical. So now we shift this. Okay, here we go. And then you put like the feet under it again. And all of a sudden you have like a really musical sounding pattern. And this is how to build it, how to build that car and then see if it drives. But it's actually a quite complicated exercise because it's quite coordination because your mind concentrates also on the melody. So here it's quiet, you know, so it's like right?
And every voice has to sound good.
Every voice has to sound good because you don't want to make it sound,
Yeah.
you know, like shit, you know, because it's like, you know, some exercise and kind of, you know, just really try to blow people's mind with that. And it sounds unmusical. So I
Yeah.
think, you know, there's a lot of detail when you play like these things and build something that sounds like a beautiful arrangement. But, you know, so this was an example of fairly extreme coordination, you know, that kind of embraces, first of all, pattern, and then also odd meters, you know, and counterparts, and music and melody, you know.
In this
so
case, also dynamics.
and in this case, also dynamics, because I just wanted to play
Wonderful,
it, you know,
Marco. True.
just as an idea.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Marco.
wonderful.
This was
Thank you.
most illuminating. So, Marco, talking about your last release with the Aristocrats,
Yeah.
the album Freeze Live in Europe 2020
Yeah.
is a concentration of musical completeness and proof, I guess, of the highest degree of harmony between the members, which starts with a scratchy, articulated and fragmented sound, passes through Spanish atmospheres and continues along prog lines, but with a certain link to jazz in a broader sense.
yeah.
Are there any musical works that are more congenial to you in terms of interplay and composition?
Well, with the Aristocrats, we have this very intense chemistry. And I think that's what that really is. We meanwhile know what each others would do at certain kind of points, you know, during the show. So we sometimes can blindfolded, you know, really lock onto each other and kind of accent certain things with each other. The thing, how the Aristocrats work are, we compose each of us complete songs separately and then send them to the members. But we are very aware of like, well, first of all, certain songs are completely composed and all the parts are really, you know, through composed. You have like pretty much a structure and certain things that go in unison, or like counterparts that are, or, you know, polyrhythmics that are kind of written out for each other. But there's also a certain amount of improvisation, which goes, well, pretty much into the jazz area, you know, where you really kind of, you know, start having just fun and kind of see where it's going. And once that's done, you kind of make a sign and go like, cool, now we go back to the next section. That's really how the Aristocrats work. And I think especially on Freeze, on that album, you could really hear, you know, how well our chemistry meanwhile works, you know, how locked we are with each other. And that really comes from playing together for over a decade, you know, with the band now, you know, on all sorts of stages in the world. Yeah, sorry, that was a little detour, but I hope that explained it.
Yeah, it explained it very well. So, Gabriele, you want to ask something about Freeze also?
Yeah, Marco, we also find your solo tribute to the immense Neil Peart, who prematurely died in the year of your European tour. Can you tell us about how he influenced your drumming?
Well, Neil was a great guy, and I had the pleasure to meet him, and we had a great hang. I really want to kind of point that out. Actually, he was a really, really cool and very intelligent man, and so his strength, I think, was always in not only being the drummer that he was, but also the writer he was. Yeah. So as a book author, but also as a lyricist, when you see like some of Rush's lyrics, like Losing It, for example, those are deep, beautiful lyrics. And as coordinated or as thoughtful as he was as a lyricist, he was as a drummer as well. Yeah. So a lot of the things he played were very arranged. So, and that's probably also the reason, especially in a rock band setting, that so many people of fans could learn his drum fills because he would repeat them at most of the shows. There are a lot of trademark fills. Tom Sawyer is always like a great example.
Quite
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of guitar riffs.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, it's right. It's becomes almost part of the composition. Not almost.
Yeah.
It kind of does.
Sure.
And I don't think there's you see that many people air drumming to Neil's licks than at a Rush show. So it's I think that was really his strength, to kind of have these memorable fills, and also great grooves, and just very composed, coordinated, and thought through. And I guess that was really Neil's strength, and I have a deep respect and love for that, and yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, indeed. I've been loving the Neil Peart style since the very beginning.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Giuseppe Negri, a question from our friends. How important is to play both in a free way, for example, your personal music or Aristocrats, or more fixed sessions music? It's refreshing to jump between these situations? Thanks.
Yeah, very, very. I think, a very good showcase for that is an album that I just put out together with a friend of mine, Randy McStein. He's a fantastic multi-instrumentalist, and we're both multi-instrumentalists, and we write both songs and bring them into the band. So each of us separately write songs, bring them in, and complete them. And I think that album, especially the second one that just came out, it's called...
you can go in tour, just the two of you.
Yeah, right. Technically, yeah. More money, right? So here we go. So the thing is, that album came out. It's called McStein and Minimum 2, and that one features both palettes. So some of these songs that I'm writing are really through composed with a lot of details, and then there are the solo sections where we just go out and have fun. And it's the same for Randy's songs. Randy writes pretty, very beautiful songs, and so we have these elements where we have definitely the frame, and certain things need to be obeyed, and then there's also improvisation. It's almost a little bit with the Aristocrats, but maybe a little more composed. But the thing is, I do like to answer your question, therefore. I do like to kind of switch around and do these kind of things. And another good example is this guy I just kind of did an album with, Jan Rivera. Jan Rivera is his name. And very Zappa-esque. So the things are literally written out. You literally have you're reading. And you have to read because those things are non-repetitive. So you have sometimes the long charts, and 5/2 happens, and 11 tuplets, 13 tuplets happen, quintuplet grooves.
Crazy.
So you have to read it. You have to really read it. And I enjoy it, But he is also a little bit like that, what I say. Yeah, there are those composed parts, but then there is a part, here comes a guitar solo. Here comes a drum solo. And then we go back into the head where you have to read. So I think there is a beauty of it, of kind of being completely focused and playing as it was written, but then also having the part where you can literally freely express yourself, because it still kind of is your personality that you bring in. And when you combine these two things, there is a great marriage of discipline and fun. So there you go.
That's a nice sentence.
Unlikely.
Yeah, I liked it too when I said it out loud. I was like, okay, I gotta write it down.
Okay,
Marco,
Thomas.
you're talking about your collaborations. I mean, your collaborations as a sideman with legendary guitarists such Joe Satriani and Alex Lifeson and so forth
That's right,
are many and diverse, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you always received the same musical freedom from all of them? Or what are the main differences between all these collaborations, if you can?
Yes. So Joe Satriani, I had a lot of freedom, actually. He kind of pretty much let me do what I wanted to. Well, obviously you have to obey when you play Surfing with the Alien, or if you play Flying in the Blue Dream, because that's just like, laying down the groove, which is great too, because it feels fantastic. Everybody knows that who's on stage, and the sound is great and rich. You have like a good bass response and the band is locked. There's nothing cooler than locking in, right? And feeling the groove,
Laying down.
Laying down the groove, exactly that, So that is cool. But yeah, there were like definitely songs like Time Machine, or some of the songs we had where there's like a lot of improvisation, where you can just do whatever fills he sometimes likes, and he welcomed that, And that's the same actually. Well, with Alex Lifeson, it was a different chemistry, because we worked pretty much as a studio, thing. So we never really toured or played live. But he's very different. For example, he played on my albums. He played on some of my records, and then we did like one song, like a really lengthy piece together that we released as an EP. And that was just really beautiful, but it was almost more like you could see that he's a member of Rush, because the way he kind of delivered guitar tracks for my songs, or when he wrote something and and we complimented each other, it was more like a writing process rather than an improvisational thing. That was like completely thought through. I think the only thing we really had that was not composed was like the one guitar solo section or something. The rest is like really thought through. And I like that. It's like, you can tell that Alex is not a big, no, let me not say something wrong. I want to say he's not a big session musician. He never was, because he concentrated always on Rush. He was he's from Rush. It's great, right? And so you never really see him or saw him play that often on other records as like, other players in the world would do, who you see like, on every other record. Horse like me. Sorry. Sorry.
German humor.
Yeah. I know, right? So, it's like one of those things, isn't it? Because I'm used to kind of deliver and kind of, play in all sorts of styles and things. And then there are like some people like Alex who doesn't go to the jams all the time, or works, left and right, with all sorts of people. And I thought that marriage was pretty cool, because it feels almost like composing together in a band setting, which it was cool. So those are the differences between, for example, Joe Satriani and Alex Lifeson, because Joe is very much an outgoing player and loves improvising here and there, and so very different and both very beautiful. So
wonderful.
Okay,
I guess
Google.
we may have a spot for some gear talk now.
Yeah.
You've been with DW Drums at Zildjian for a very long time now, and
Yeah.
you developed quite a few other collaborations too. Do you fancy sharing some of your gear secrets with your friends?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I stick pretty much truthful to my guns, so to speak, which are the instruments. And it's once I find something that sounds fantastic, and people who treat me nicely and with respect and kind of are going on this musical journey with me, then I stick with these guys. And that's, for example, with DW Drums the way, and with Zildjian, and also Promark and Evans
Of course.
the way. These people really care about me, and they really listen to what I would like and what I need, and so the secrets, I don't know. I mean, I helped sometimes, developing stuff with these companies. For example, my signature drumsticks, and also with DW. When I came into the picture, we, since I used to play Tama years ago, like before DW,
Yeah.
and also great drums, fantastic, But the DW guys, they really were able to take my thoughts in, and they are around the corner where I live as well. So I have to say they're like, a car drive away. And so I sometimes go to the factory and they just made a gong drum for me, like, the nice, cool gong drum, but more like in a, with a kick drum frame to it. And then also the thing called Rada toms, which were like, which used to be the Octobands.
Octoban.
So, yeah, so now they're also made of wood and all this kind of stuff. But those were ideas, those two elements that I kind of brought to DW. And DW made these things for me. And meanwhile, they're available for the public. So I'm actually quite proud of this. But, and also, they listen to me, like if I want to have anything special, like a snare drum, like certain drums in certain sizes, certain woods, they do it. And for example, the kit I'm playing here right now, which I'm absolutely happy with, it's probably one of the best sounding drum kits that I've ever played, is this Purple Heart kit they made. And it's a very unusual wood. It always shines through the purple color. And but the thing is, it sounds just so beautiful. It has like, it's very ambient, it's very open, but focused at the same time. So you get like, this really nice attack, but with like a nice bottom and richness to it. So
Which kind of shells are?
Well, you mean the sizes of the shells?
The sizes and also,
The wood.
the wood.
The wood is Purple Heart.
Ah, okay,
Purple
purple.
Heart.
Yeah, that's the Purple Heart. And so, and the sizes I'm using here is actually 10, 12, 8-inch tom, and then 16-inch and 18-inch floor tom. And
The
on
legendary 8-inch on your right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I just wanted to go there as well, because people always ask me about that. So, and here are my standard answers, but and it's true. So first of all, what you see is like, I pretty much play like this. I don't want to kind of move around too much and do these kind of things. It's just a healthy way of playing where you get the most power and the best sound. So, and also since I have pretty much a rock sound, I do like, the bigger toms in front of me and the floor toms over there. So I don't really stretch out that way too much. I really like, the bump, like, going that way. And the 8-inch tom, I use more almost like a percussive instrument to kind of ride on it or to kind of, drive something on it. Or as a certain, fill that is more like, percussive, and...
Like a color like a timbalito.
I was literally about to say that, like a timbalis or something, like in a tiny way. So that is really the reason, the main reason why I'm using this. But I tell you what, I sometimes mess around with it live. For example, you can sometimes see me getting rid of this tom and or getting rid of this tom, so to speak, but moving the 10 and the 12-inch to the kick drum or something and just using it as a almost 5-piece kit, I like that too. So it is there's no wizardry going on or something. It was just like a decision that I at some point made and was like, kind of cool.
Yeah. That's it. So, Marco, you, beside being a drummer and musician, you're a producer and sound engineer of a highest level, I guess. How important is in the overall work of a modern musician to have knowledge of sound, recording, production, dome management, and to go beyond the basic instrumental skill?
I think they really go all together in a way, because when you want to kind of sound good, I mean, you have like a certain sound inside of your head, and I would kind of really say follow that voice and kind of try to get the sound that you're hearing. And if you need help from other people, then go get that help, but watch closely what these people are doing so that you can learn. This is how you kind of build your legacy and also your alphabet, and it's half of the rent really, or half of the price. It's like really knowing your sound and sounding good, because there's nothing worse than having like a crappy sound, but most of the time, good players have that sensibility and also know how to sound like. So I think that is very important. Well, and thank you for saying that I'm a good engineer, but honestly, it's a learning curve. It never stops. You always kind of find new little tricks or new little things where you go like, why wasn't I thinking of that microphone over here earlier or something.
Yeah, of course, it happens even with Bob Clearmountain or Clisol Dargi. I mean, but it's a learning curve.
It
but
is.
Of course, you achieved a very high level. I mean, it's
Well,
not joke.
no, thank you. But the thing is, how that works is I make templates. So the thing is, like, once I have like a song that sounds really good, and I tweaked like the drums in the way that I like them, then I go like, hang on, this sounds really good. Save. And so I save like the whole templates and do like a thing that I can recall instantly. And then I do it for certain settings. Like one sound, it sounded really good as a jazz kit, which has a lot of ambience and it speaks with dynamics. Or like a compressed metal sound, or hard rock kind of kit, where that I can call up and go like, yeah, here you go. You want Pantera? Here it is. So
And do you think when you are listening to your tracks, you are learning how to play better
you mean like
behind the set?
Very much, man. That's a good question, because it is easy sometimes to get lost in your own thoughts while you play, or you think it sounds good, but it's always cool to listen back and go like, oops, hang on.
So you are a great drummer behind the drums, but also on the door.
The listening spot.
Well, I don't know if I'm great at or something or not, but I try to do it like with the best of my abilities, and try to learn from it. And the best thing is listening. Indeed, since I record, I'm my own engineer, and in fact on the same very computer. So I sit here and play, record it, and then I listen back through the headphones.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you think like, oh shit, I thought the take was pretty good, but let's do it again,
Yeah.
And it can also happen sometimes the other way around, where you think like, I think I kind of fucked that one up. And then you listen and you go like, it actually sounds kind of cool, So you learn, sometime, from that kind of stuff, what to keep or how to play. And it comes with experience.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
So-
let me play some of the questions from our friends. Otherwise, we'll stay here forever. This is in two parts. So, what was the creative process in the recording of the Raven That Refused to Sing? How did you prepare and wrote the drum parts? And did you transcribe everything note by note, or did you leave room for improvisation? And how did you make the sound choices with Alan Parsons regarding the drum kit? So it's three questions in one.
Yeah, good questions, because I got to say that album and also the one after, which was called Hand Cannot Erase. So the Raven Refused to Sing at first, when we worked with Alan, it was almost like making a jazz record, really, because it was very loose in a good way, though. It was like literally, I think the whole production of playing took like a few days. I think the thing was done in 4 days. And usually it was the thing that Stephen and I were the first ones doing, the songs and arrangements, before everyone else came in. So Stephen would send me his songs and also ask me, hey, what would you do different? Do you have any ideas for the arrangements or something? And then it was the two of us collaborating here from this room and him being in England. And so we just played to it, but there was a lot of freedom. And I guess, that's why the albums sound also like the band sounds. You could hear definitely the difference, between the albums of his with us in it, or without us in it, which is not a judgmental thing. I just mean it in general.
Different.
It's a difference, So, which is a good thing, because he actually let us loose. He let us speak, So, and I think that's a good thing that every musician and composer or anyone who releases albums should do. Let the people you hire speak. Hire them for what they're good at and or for their voice. That's usually what I really appreciate. And so the Raven, not to make a big detour of it. So the songs were just really the basic structure, and then we could just do whatever pretty much we wanted most of the time. And with Alan, it was also a very easygoing procedure, and actually quite shockingly, not shockingly, but I don't want to use the word basic because it sounds inferior, which I don't mean at all. It's actually very good what he did, because he also just mic'd the drum set and the room with the few mics that were needed to make the sound good. As far as I remember, for the drum set, I don't even know if we used 1 or 2 kick drums, but it was very basic. I think we only used 1 top snare mic, 1 kick drum mic. Just like really, he just walked around in the room and thought like, oh, let's see how it sounds like. And then he just placed the mics, wherever he felt it was necessary, So I don't know, it was like a pretty basic miking procedure, and but with the maximum result, because it sounded beautiful in the room,
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
So I don't know if we used like 2 snare mics and maybe 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, 2 kick drum mics, but I think what we ended up using was just a top mic and only 1 kick drum mic. So really, almost like in a way how he would record with Pink Floyd. Just finding the right tone and then leaving it organic. So yeah, at the end of the day, those albums were not done with much trickery. They're like just making the band sound like the band.
You were just set free.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes the albums the way they sound like. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Marco, we have also many guitarists looking at this live streaming.
Cool.
And there's one specific with one of the collaboration you've done from Noemi. How's been the collaboration with Pliny for the End of Everything EP? I guess recorded from distance too, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that was a thing because Pliny is a longtime friend of mine, and I witnessed when he kind of came on the spot without, he was by that time not known at all. So a friend of mine who was also part of the management of the Aristocrats as well, Ed Yoon, he used to work with Suhr guitars and now works with Strandberg guitars. And he's a longtime dear old friend of mine. And he kind of at some point goes like, Marco, you need to listen to this guitar player. And he's a huge fan of what you do. And listen to his stuff. He does everything from his living room. And could you see yourself maybe collaborating with him? And we did. We kind of did, that first EP. And it was great. And we're still in touch. We actually just a few years ago did a show together with Mohini Day on bass. And that was fantastic. We wanted actually to keep that tour going, but there were like scheduling conflicts of all of us, but that might happen again because, we're dear friends. And so the EP was done also right from this room once again. And right, that's my sanctuary here, isn't it? That's my, so yeah. And that's pretty much how most productions work these days, isn't it? But yeah, short answer, yes.
Go ahead, Gabriele.
How do you compose a new song from scratch? Do you start from a harmonic context or from a groove or some melody you have in mind? How do you develop one idea?
Yeah, I think I answered that question already earlier in the conversation, because it can happen from either instrument. Sometimes it's a riff that I like. Yeah. Sometimes it's a piano melody or a vocal melody, and I tailor something around. And sometimes I find something where I go like, whoa, this is a cool groove, and I can hear a bass line with it or something, and then you build on top of it. That happens on the spot.
So you put your vocal note?
I was just about to say, there you go.
Yeah.
Voice notes, and then go to the computer and elaborate it.
Wonderful.
Got the answer for Noemi. Awesome. Thanks for the answer. Love the drums on it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, you, Marco, you're a musician of many influences, as you said, even tonight, and we find it hard to imagine anything you haven't played yet. But is there anything that has remained a dream for you? Is there something that Marco Minnemann still wishes to learn or experience in particular?
Yes, look, my my goal, not goal, or my how do you say, like, who voice always tells me to never stop dreaming. Never stop dreaming. Because the thing is, if you stop dreaming, then where you go? And it's like, the same things with learning. Always be curious. If you're not curious, or if you think you're awesome, then you have to stop. So I like the thought of that nothing is perfect. Because perfection kind of, well, it can exist a little bit, but nothing is full on perfect. There's always room to improve or to go different ways. If the world was perfect, you would stop and have to and then you would, because, right? If you release the perfect album, then it's time to stop if you think it's perfect. So the thing is, always build on top of that and go a different direction or something like that. And that is kind of what I really strive for and what I'm looking for. So there's always something I'm curious about. For example, the new thing I just did with Randy McStein. That's a wonderful collaboration, and I'm so proud of what we did with our new album. It was probably one of the best albums I ever did, and that was a thing that completely fell from the sky. And so I'm always looking forward to certain things. Look, for example, Steve Vai and myself, we have planned. We played a few times on stage already and on certain recordings and stuff. But we were planning for a long time to maybe do a collaboration as well. And maybe at some point it will actually also happen. And these are always things to look forward to. So many beautiful musicians on this planet. And so, it's like an endless well and never stop growing. So I'm looking forward to these experiences. It's like having a dinner. It's like having a nice dinner with friends always,
Yeah. I love your attitude.
There is not the perfect dinner.
Yeah, indeed. There is always a new one.
Yeah.
And I see this is a public promise. If you come to Rome for any live or you will be our guest, and I'm a true professional about the restaurants in Rome, mate.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we should definitely follow up on that.
Indeed. About what you said just now, I'm just trying to digest and get going with the other questions that are coming. Luke Manulenta said, "Hi Marco, when you play you always look happy, smiley, relaxed. I'll say at peace with the world. What's your secret?" You partially answered, but maybe you want to add something.
Well, first of all, it looks as if I'm smiling. It's actually pain. It's like, ah! No, I was kidding. I always say that. No, it's no. I do have fun playing, obviously, and it's, to me, exactly what you described there, and the question. Thank you for the question or the statement. But what's my secret? Well, my secret is, okay, it is a very satisfying thing to do, so why shouldn't it be fun? To me, it's like almost like it's a joyous, enticing, experience. And to me, like, for example, food and music, I always have make this analogy, goes together. It's almost like, it's like love or something. It's like, it's like so much passion about it. So there's nothing to be unhappy about. I mean, it would be kind of weird sitting behind a drum set and going like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck.
Be more Epicureist.
Right? You go like, So if you don't have fun playing music, man, then that would be bad, right? I think even the goth people have fun making music because it's fun playing music. Come on,
It is.
Unless the image doesn't allow you to show it,
Indeed.
Yeah.
Gabriele, go ahead with your question, because I guess it will be a very deep answer.
Yeah.
Marco,
how do you relate to the most recent technology and the massive use of social media, and how do you feel they impacted the music industry in the last 15 years?
Okay, I'll try to keep it not too long with that, but first of all, there were like two scenarios, and when I grew up, pretty much making music, we still had record companies giving you budgets and all this kind of stuff, and conducting how your album is supposed to be, which can sometimes be pretty painful because you're on a paid budget that is partially sometimes recoupable even, and then you have to sell records and do what the record company pleases, you know. So basically you do the song and then these people talk you into how that song is really, you know, has to be to kind of succeed in a certain market. And I mean, who are certain of those people to tell you how your music has to be? So I really kind of, you know, welcomed the freedom of record companies and social media so that you can post whatever you like with anyone in between. So if you have something to say, you can do that. And also, it kind of made people learn more about engineering and getting your own sound and doing your own productions. So these are the things I really like. So you don't have like some A&R person who flies business in first class, you know, to kind of, you know, certain meetings and is partying all night, you know, on your budget, you know. So we don't have these people anymore, and they tell you around like, oh man, the guitars are kind of, you know, too distorted, and the song needs to be 3 minutes 20 seconds long max, otherwise we won't get on the radio. Well, which of these fingers would you like to see first? We don't do this anymore. So it's kind of one of those things, right? You know, it's like you can do your own music and create whatever you feel, and if some of your friends and fans like it, that gives you the access to continue and build on top. Now, yes, there is a downside, obviously. You have to be clever how to market it, and unfortunately, a lot of sales, you know, go down, you know. So it's you have to, you know, live playing never goes away, you know. So that's the one of the things, you know. So you can still sell merchandise, you know, by being on the road and make money of it. But yeah, releasing music from your home, and everybody meanwhile accepts, or a lot of people expect everything for free, you know.
Yeah.
And that is like I mean, I wonder how many bands are out there right now who would have been rich and famous in the 70s and now never got a chance, or are just making really small budget records, you know. So that is the painful part of it. You have to sort of, yeah, find a way how to bring the whole thing on the road and then tour with it, you know. But I guess, you know, if your old friend of mine, Kurt Kress, very famous drummer, and also
yeah, wonderful. He
and
made also many albums of Elio and le Storietese here in Italy.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
But he said to me already in the 90s, because that's when it already started. And Alex Lifeson said that as well. He says like you could feel already in the 90s starting how the market became a different thing. But Kurt said to me like, yeah, you know what? Quality will always win. Quality will, if you do things to the best of your knowledge and you deliver quality, you will win. You know, and that's and yeah, and I guess, you know, that's important.
So you have to fly high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you have to. Yeah, I think you just have to believe in what you do and just keep doing it.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Then I guess, yeah.
I guess this quality will always win is the hashtag of the year, mate. Yeah, will become of it. Yeah.
In everything, human quality and everything, you know, as well.
Yeah,
Also,
they're getting serious.
playing.
Your quotes like 1, 2, 3, 4, fuck. Okay, just a small question from our friends. Andrea Porti,
Yeah.
can you tell us something about the period with Steven Wilson?
Yeah, we had a great time on the road, and it was, man, you know, first of all, I had no idea who Steven Wilson was. So when he wrote me, we just started to set up a meeting, and I listened to some of the things he did prior. And then we met because a mutual friend, Jordan Rudess, played piano on those shows. And so we hung out and then decided to make music together. And I gotta say, like, the tours were very much fun. You know, it was like very, how do you say, I had freedom, you know, definitely to play, you know, whatever, you know, I pleased. It's we did a bunch of cool records, and it's unfortunate, you know, that it kind of ended at some point, you know, out of some discrepancies, you know, with touring schedules, and that led to like a little bit of, you know, of acrimony or like weirdness, which I never wanted, but it was like, I think Stephen was very disappointed at some point that I couldn't, and Guthrie as well, that we couldn't make all the schedules that he wanted to, because we also had the Aristocrats going on, and I also had Joe Satriani going on, and then Guthrie started working with Hans Zimmer. So it was a little bit of a shame that the band sort of fell apart, but it was not only because of that. We could have made schedules work, but everybody wanted to keep their own schedules and didn't want to adjust. So that became a little bit of a problem. Yeah. But I think we made 2 really good albums. I think The Raven Refused to Sing and Hand Cannot Erase were both good albums, and
with a fantastic sound also.
Yeah, there you go. And we recorded in pretty good studios as well. Like we recorded at East West Studio. There was The Raven that Refused to Sing was East West, and then the other one was Air Studios, and in London. And so that was cool. And I remember, talking to Stephen and telling him we should do, because I had such a feeling, and we did it on one of the tours where the band sounded so good and so locked, and we weren't planning a live video by the time, but I said like, hey man, let's consider making a video. And I literally said like, because it's such a great band, we're so locked, and we don't know how long this can stay together. You never know. And I was actually unfortunately right, and it fell apart after that. But Stephen did listen, and we did actually a DVD for that as well. And I think it showcases really how good the band was. Yeah, so those are the things, definitely from the period, with Stephen. And I know he's going into a different direction now, and I haven't heard much of it, but it's very different. And I know that, and this is kind of a funny thing, because, yeah, sure, I have also reasons, certain reasons not to really like Stephen, but I also have reasons to like him, because we had a great time together. But I do also want to step in and say that because he was getting a lot of bad comments and a lot of judgment, from people about his new work and how different it is, and a lot of fans left and a lot of, so stuff. And when I listened to it, I thought like, well, actually, hey, no, he's just going in a different direction. It's fine. It's not bad. It's just different. So I'm always very open-minded to these things, and I was the same way with other bands. If they want to go into a different direction and they do it good, there's nothing wrong. Yeah, you lose. You might run the risk, losing fans or something like that, but not meaning to compare it. But I'm a huge Queen fan, for example. But when they went from The Game, or from all those great records they did, like, News of the World, Jazz, and all this kind of stuff, it's fantastic. And all of a sudden, after The Game and Flash Gordon, they did Hot Space. And everybody was like, what? But I was still open-minded, and I thought, and I still think there are some good songs on the record. And so I think, you have to be open-minded. And anyways, whatever sometimes people do in public and are a little bit inelegant and say the wrong things, and Stephen has a talent for that. But I mean, we all know that. But the thing is, at the end of the day, from what I remember and what I wish people, I always wish people luck, and all bad feelings or something are all gone. All gone. I wish him only good things and success and happiness with the journey. And I think what we did with The Raven Refused to Sing and Hand Cannot Erase were good statements.
It's quite like a musical season that can start and can finish.
Yeah,
but it's always a really brilliant musical season.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you for saying that. So it's a good thing, and you never know what the future holds.
Yeah,
you never know, right?
So
yeah.
Okay, this is another question. Elisa Zimbardo, can you talk about some basics of Connacle? She's
dear,
in love about that.
That is like that's a rabbit hole to go into, isn't it? Right. So I wish that we should have brought Mohini in here. Mohini Day, my dear friend.
Mohini Day.
We should have brought her in. She probably would have totally logged on and be part of this. Because obviously she can explain properly how the conical thing works. You know, what Mohini and I do when we play, or with other Indian musicians I work with, I see it just in a different way. The mathematical outcome is the same, you know? So, you know, so the takati, you know, this kind of stuff, you know, it's just a different way of counting. So here's a very good example. So I'll play it quietly as well, so you don't have to adjust all this kind of stuff. For example, I remember like playing a while back with this Indian tabla artist, Karuna Murthy. And so we wanted to do something in 5/16 and 7/16 and 9/16. So I had this idea to go like, hey, let's do like, you know, that 5, 7, 9. So I would count it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the bam bam, the bam bam, the bam bam, the 1, 2, because when I can talk over this, my mind is free to do something else on top of it, right? So this kind of thing. But boom, 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 and 7 would be and then 9 would be like. So in Karuna would say, oh, the Indian way of phrasing it, and as he would talk, we would add like a second 16th note. So the 5, which was like becomes all of a sudden.
It's quite a different clave.
It all of a sudden becomes exactly a absolutely completely different vibe. And the 7 would be like, instead of and the 9 therefore right? So you have like, you know, totally completely patterns, and this is kind of the way, you know, to translate it, and you know how I would kind of translate with Indian musicians and speak, you know, because obviously when I start playing drums to that, it's different. I would be a very bad conical scatter, you know. I leave that to Mohini. But yeah, those are yeah, you know. But it's yeah, for me, the outcome is the same, like I said, you know. But it's a different way of collaborating, and I love that, you know.
I can't imagine
understanding,
having a day in the same studio with you, Mohini, and Matthias Eklund, you know, at the same room.
Oh yeah. But here's a good thing, you know. Shall I play like, you know, some variations?
Whatever.
So here's the thing. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna build like a little solo out of 3 times 5, 3 times 7, and 3 times 9.
Okay.
All right. So I kind of circle that, and it's always 3. I tell you what, yeah, it's always 3 times, and then I'll kind of move it to 2 times, and then I'll move it to 1 time each. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, dum dum. So okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is like a system that we would kind of use when collaborating, basically downgrading, and then you start again from the top. So it's really fun. So check this out. So I kind of start first, you know, with the basics, then I start improvising on top of it. So now you can lower the volume, okay?
Okay.
So it would be wow. But that was just a basic example of trading in numbers, right? And so now when you have like somebody doing conical over that, it becomes a thing where everybody would go like, what the fuck are they doing? This is insane. But but at the end of the day, there's a concept to it. You know, you just have to be disciplined about it and make it hopefully sound good, you know.
Cool.
That's amazing. Thanks a lot, Marco, for your time and dedication.
No problem.
Listen, Marco, lately we have launched the Music of Young project, in which we interview young and new talented musicians and put them in contact with some great professionals. And most of them are looking at this live streaming tonight.
Oh, yeah.
You also started your career as a teenager when there was nothing like YouTube and social networks. Have you got any advice for young musicians to boost their potential and to follow a path that can be more rewarding, I mean, in terms of music performance and their career?
Yeah, well, you know, first of all, there was a difference, absolutely, because when I grew up as a teenager, I bought albums, you know, and then listened to them and then learned them. But there was also a different kind of focus because you were not distracted. So the thing is, like, I remember like listening to Frank Zappa and playing all of his stuff. I was so interested in that knowledge. And so, you know, I learned the Black Page, I learned all those things, and then also like his songs. For example, there's an album called Make a Jazz Noise here, and which is, especially disc 2, is fantastic. It has all the hard Frank Zappa stuff on it. And I was so curious, I learned literally how to play the whole album and played along with it. And just to kind of, you know, learn and see, you know, what they did there and what was going on and how Frank wrote. And it was a very focused thing to do because I wasn't distracted, you know, by just YouTube videos and go like, oh, hey, this is kind of cool. Here's the next one. Oh, there's another one. Oh, and that suggested I should, if you listen to that artist, you might like this one too. And then at some point, you know, you don't still know where to look at first. You go like, you know what? I don't know. You know, obviously there's nothing bad with that. You know, everybody can make a choice and listen, but it's
different.
It is different because, you know, all of a sudden there was this focus. You go like, yep, I'm going to take this disc with me. I put it there and I play to it. You know, there was like something really cool about it, you know, that I enjoyed. And meanwhile, it kind of goes sometimes in snippets. You know, this is something that really pisses me off sometimes these days, where people don't have the patience to listen to an entire song anymore. You know, they're sitting there on their phones and then with the YouTube channel and whatnot, you know, and go like, oh, okay. And after the song, if there's an intro that builds up and is longer than 15 seconds, oh, okay, nothing's happening. Next. And you go like, man, you know, imagine somebody puts out like an album these days, like Wish You Were Here from Pink Floyd, which starts where the keyboard intro is already 2 minutes and 30 seconds long or something, right? Hardly anyone from the YouTubers would even have the patience to kind of listen to that. You know, so, but I think it's really important. And obviously there are still people out there who do care, you know, but that's why it's so cool to have like vinyl, you know, that comes back, you know, because art and patience do matter, you know, and that's something, you know, that is also a recommendation, you know, for all the new players, you know, be patient and take your time, you know. So that is something I would always suggest. And you'll find it when you write a song, because you have to be patient, you know. So kind of put these things together, and then musicality happens automatically.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. We are focusing a lot with these young guys, talking about to take the time to achieve something.
Yes.
You deserve to take time for something important, at least.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Marco, just two very small questions from our friends. Hi, Master. We know you can play every kind of music genre, but what is your absolute favorite? Is there any?
German march music. No, I was kidding. Okay, let's see. I don't know. No, look, I think I'm at heart I'm a rocker. I do like rock music, you know. I do like dynamics though as well, you know, but mainly, you know, what I listen to and stuff like that goes back to, well, look at me, how I look like. To kind of, you know,
Your hair speaks.
Exactly. I guess that explains.
Yeah, it explains something.
Yeah, so I do like, you know, rock, but with a little edge here and there, you know.
yeah.
So
Okay. And then about drama. I know not a very original question. Which are your favorite drummers?
my favorite drummers would be, okay, you know how people say always to say things that come to mind instantly because then I don't have to think so long. So I name some drummers I really like. Vinny Colaiuta, Buddy Rich, Dennis Chambers, Terry Bozzio, Chad Wackerman, Simon Phillips, Mark Crenny, Barrymore Barlow, Phil Rudd, John Bonham, Stuart Copeland,
Jesus.
Prince.
Yeah, you've done so much. Done so many.
So there you go.
I guess we can end this interview with one of your famous Italian jokes. Do you wish to?
Oh
say
yeah.
something? Because he's a genius about that, guys.
Yeah.
No, well, you know, I say a lot of times these things to people on stage. Some not that often, some often. For example, 33 Trentini entrarono in Trento, tutti e 33, trotterellando. And the other one, which I'm gonna mess up maybe, sopra la panca, what?
La capra
Capra.
camp.
La capra. Okay, here we go. Sopra la panca la capra campa, sotto la panca la capra creppa.
The incredible thing, you never do a mistake, also in the rehearsals.
Yeah, even the pronunciation, it's very
Yeah,
accurate.
yeah.
Very nice.
I'll try my best.
Marco, thank you very much for your time. It's been amazing to have such an amazing musician and a great people like you, a great person
Thank you
like
so much.
I'm amazed.
Likewise.
And
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to meet you in person, maybe in Rome when you come here for some music.
Yeah.
So we can have time even for some proper dinner, you know, after all
We
this
should.
time.
Oh, we should definitely do that. So I'm looking very much forward.
We will make the perfect dinner.
Yeah,
Oh.
We promise.
And I'm
So
looking.
you
Yeah.
will never dream for another one.
I know, right? That is so cool. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me.
Okay, so stay here so we can have a proper goodbye when we end.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys, for being with us. Thank you very much to Gabriele Morcavallo. And I'm looking forward for this new collaboration together with him about all the drama world. And
Thank you so
special
much, Thomas.
thank you. Yeah, you have been amazing, my friend.
Thank
even
you so
with
much.
This short,
Thank you. If you-
asking in advance.
If I can, I want to say a big thank you also to my great friend and great musician Daniele Sorrenti, that
from
is
Soul Sound
hosting.
Studio. Yeah,
He's hosting me in his studio, Soul Sound Studio. He's hosting me and Charleston TV here, and I want to say thank you, Danny, because this is really great.
Yeah. Yeah, great man. Thanks a lot for being with us. Let's meet together again on this Friday for another very special live streaming.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Marco. See you soon, guys. Have fun.
Okay, grazie per
Thank you so
tutti.
much, Marco.
Okay.